party people, we're going to start with core first. 30 seconds on, about 15 seconds off to transition to the next exercise. This first exercise up is called hands, shoulders, knees, and toes, as demonstrated here by touching the hands, shoulders, knees, and toes of the opposite side of the body. The goal is to try to hold that push-up position until you get to where you're touching the toes, and then you have a slight pike up. All right, right after hands, shoulders, knees, and toes, we're going to go into a bicycle abs. So again, keeping low back pressed on the ground, hands nice and light on the head, don't pull at the neck. And you're rotating that shoulder blade off the ground to get the opposite elbow to the opposite knee. All right, following bicycle abs, we're going to go into sit-throughs. You're going to get in a push-up position, making sure that wrists are underneath the elbows and shoulders. And with the sit-through, basically, you're going to rotate to get that glute to touch the floor. Opposite arm is supporting you. Opposite leg is supporting you. So I'm just going to bring that foot through the hole, put it right back where it is, bring it through, put everything right back where I began, to that starting position. Okay, after sit-throughs, I'm going to set up for jackknife opposites. I have arms stretched out, legs stretched out, and I'm going to reach opposite hand to opposite foot, meeting over the midsection of my body. I'm going to make sure I return my hands back to the overhead position, and again, try to meet hand and foot right over the belly button. Off to a second set of hands, shoulders, knees, and toes for 30 seconds. Second set of bicycle abs or bicycle crunches for 30 seconds. And second set of sit-throughs for 30 seconds with a frontal view. And final set of jackknife opposites for 30 seconds. All right, the first exercise in this home-based circuit is an alternating dumbbell snatch for 8 repetitions or 4 each side. We're going to start with that dumbbell touching the ground, palms facing toward you or slightly turned in towards yourself, and And then basically we're driving that weight up through the hips. We're forcefully extending our hips open, and the weight ends up overhead. You want to make sure that it travels right up against the body. Next up, we're going into a goblet squat. Here I'm using a kettlebell. Again, with the home-based workout, you can use what you have. So a kettlebell would work, a dumbbell would work, a medicine ball would work, any weighted object you can come up with. You're just holding it at your chest the entire time. So it's a front-loaded squat. Next, I'm going to go into a dumbbell floor press. Using the weights that I have, laying flat against the ground. For this, you wouldn't necessarily need a bench, obviously, for those working out at home. But I'm going to go into 8 repetitions of a floor press. So my triceps have the ground as a resting point, and I'm staying right in line with the chest as I press the weight up for a 1 count and down for 3. Okay, immediately following dumbbell floor press, what is written is 8 pull-ups. Here I'm going to show you different variations, and I'm actually executing a chin-up. So my palms are faced in towards me, and I'm still using my lats to help pull my body up above the bar, but with the palm in grip, I have a little more help with my biceps, which works best for the type of bar that I have here. All right, following 8 pull-ups or your variation of a pull-up, you're going to go into walking lunges. Again, you get to see a demonstration here of how to get them done in tight spaces. So I have 20 repetitions, and I'm just alternating the right leg and the left leg. My goal is to try to keep my torso upright and sit into the hip, drive out of the hip, load into the hip, and drive out of the hip with my whole entire foot in contact on the ground. I'm not shoving my knee forward and placing all the weight in the ball of my foot. I'm using the tripod of my foot, which is the big toe, small toe, heel on the touchdown. I'm making sure I'm into a nice right degree angle between my knee and my hip. And again, loading into and out of the hip with good form. All right, round 2 of alternating dumbbell snatch. So one thing I wanted to mention here is in this variation that I'm doing, I'm actually trading off hands with the dumbbell about eye level. And if you are not comfortable with this version, stay tuned for the next round. Okay, again, second set of goblet squats for 8 repetitions. And again, once again, I'm using the kettlebell. I'm using it bottoms up style. If you're not comfortable with holding it up with the bottom up and the handle down, you can hold the handlebars in the upright position, just as long as the weight is in line with your chest. All right, second set of floor press, same setup. I set the weights down at my waist first and then grab as I lay back. Keep my shoulder blades, my back flat against the ground. The weights are at the level of my chest, not my neck or my face. Feet are flat on the ground, knees bent for support. All right, and as mentioned, for the pull-ups, go with the variation that you're able to work with. So again, this pull-up bar that I have, the angle that the bar goes at makes it a little difficult for strict pull-ups. So in the first version, I showed you chin-ups. In this second version here, I'm showing you a bandit lat pull down, again as an alternative for 8 repetitions. So just ensure that when you're using bands, whatever object the bands are wrapped around is a fixed object. Always check your bands before you use them and ensure that there's no damage to them, just so you don't harm yourself in the process. All right, and then going to a second round of 20 walking lunges. Again, just have that nice upright posture with your torso. Planting with the whole foot, the big toe, the small toe, the heel. Nice right angle. And showing you again how to work in a small confined space. It can be done. But a nice right degree angle, the knee and the hip. Load and drive out. Load and drive out. So you never see me planting on the ball of my foot and allowing my knee to shift forward. I'm using the whole entire surface of the bottom of that foot. All right, in this third round of alternating dumbbell snatch, I am demonstrating how to alternate after setting the dumbbell on the floor completely and then changing hands. If you're not comfortable with exchanging that dumbbell while it's in motion at eye level, this version here will make you feel a little more secure with it. So again, driving from the hips, and then the resultant is dumbbell ending up overhead, keeping it close to my body, not allowing it to fly away from me. All right, next up, I'm going to show you a dumbbell goblet squat. So if all you have is one dumbbell or one weight, this is another way to execute the movement. Back on the forward press for the third round. There really are not a lot of modifications to this. Hand position can be adjusted and changed. For the most part, throughout all three sets, I'm holding the dumbbells at kind of a modified hammer grip position, so I'm not completely turned in with my palms to my sides, and I'm not completely turned with my palms down or a pronated grip. I'm kind of like that in between. And for this final round, I'm showing you, if you do not have a pull-up bar option, basically finishing out with a bent over row. First exercise in this Tabata finisher is going to be a resisted sprint. So here I'm using a monster band tied around the fixed pole. And again, I can't emphasize enough to ensure that you test out your bands. Make sure that the fixed surface that they're on is absolutely going to hold your weight. If you don't have this, you can just do a high knee run in place. Immediately following your resisted sprint and a 10-second break, you're going to go right into 20 seconds of body weight squats. Immediately following body weight squats and a 10-second break, you're going to go right into 20 seconds of jumping jacks. All right, immediately following the jumping jacks, you're going to go into sit-ups for 20 seconds on. You'll get another 10 seconds rest and then start back again at the top with sprints for 20 seconds on, 10 seconds rest, squats, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds rest, jumping jacks, 20 seconds on, 20 seconds rest, and then back to the sit-ups again, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds rest, for a total of 8 rounds.